All right, welcome everybody to the show today, guys. I am lucky enough to have one-of-a-kind guest. Hi, Scott.
Hey, thank you for having me. How is everybody today? Hope everyone's doing well.
Yeah, I hope everyone is doing awesome. Guys, if you don't know about Scott, I think you all have the Google, so you should definitely Google first. I think that's the first thing everybody should do. But I'm going to introduce it to you because Scott is a great guy. He's doing real estate investing in the U.S., and he's crushing it. But I mean, crushing it. I've read a bit of a story, and he's going to tell us a bit more. But hey, guys, you should listen to this and take some notes. Especially take some notes. All right, Scott, tell me a bit about your story. Like, how did you end up in real estate investment, and what happened? What's your story? What's the background?
Tell you what, let's do this. I'm gonna do a kind of a short and sweet version because it's pretty long, really. From the state of Iowa here in the U.S. and went to college at the University of Iowa. Prior to that, when I was only a junior in high school, I started my first company as a car detailing company. From that, I met the president of a large logistics company out of Iowa called Jacobson Logistics, and ended up going to work for them during the summertime while I was in college, while also running the car detailing company. But I went and I would detail all of his cars. And anyways, when I went to go graduate, he said, you can choose anywhere you want to go in the country and we'll make a position for you. So
Was he sort of like a mentor to you at that time?
Kind of. He turned in to be that way. He's still a good friend of mine today. Is the first mentor that I had, but really he just owned a lot of cars, and he saw my work ethic. We got to know each other very well. And when I went to college, he kind of gave that option to me. He said, "Hey, why don't you come intern with me at the company? I'll teach you all the different pieces." It was a third-party logistics company, which,
all right,
if the listeners don't know what that is, it's basically end-to-end supply chain management.
Okay.
And so I learned about all those different pieces. And when I graduated, he said, "Where do you want to go in the country? We'll make a position for you." So I chose to come to Phoenix.
Pretty good opportunity there.
It was 2011 here in the U.S. That was a very rough time to find jobs in general. So very blessed to have that opportunity. But when I got here and I started working for that company, I did very well for them as they're 7,500 person company, 7,500 employee company, and it was pretty good size, and did really well. The problem was, as I was friends with the president, and so when I had a problem, I just called him, which you can't do in corporate America. So very quickly really realized that corporate America wasn't for me, and was dating a girl that was in property management, and she said, "Why don't you go get your real estate license? Sales, which is what I was doing before. Why don't you try doing that?" So I did. And really, I owe it all to her, if I have to be honest, on how I even got into this game. But I went and got my real estate license, was an agent for about a year, realized being an agent wasn't what I wanted to do. I didn't like it at all. It was terrible. I did $2.2 million in sales my first year as an agent, which was cool.
But still, realized you didn't like it. You kind of crushed it.
Well, yeah. I mean, and this is kind of the hidden trick and secret, because I didn't really crush it. $2.2 million in sales is, I think I made like $48,000 that year for myself in commissions. Okay. $2.2 million in sales is the gross number, of dollar sales of the houses, right?
Yeah.
So, that's when I realized that I just didn't want to be an agent. Started learning about other ways to invest in real estate by joining the local RIA here in Phoenix. And that was really the start of my journey.
That's pretty cool. So actually had no link between real estate and what you were doing before. But I see that you said you had a work ethic, and then the president noticed it. So you think it's part of the secret why, you kind of chose you and you had all those opportunity?
I think anybody that's listening to the show, anybody who's entrepreneurial knows that you can't do it without work. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you do. On social media today, it's so prevalent where people appear that overnight success, somebody that just went from 0 to 100 overnight, and all of a sudden they didn't have to work for it. It came so easy for them. And what I can say with true confidence is that you cannot have success without putting in the work. The universe has this thing of treating people that put in the effort and put in the time and put in the struggle that goes with any entrepreneur as an entrepreneur, the ups and the downs and the being completely out of money. And then, not knowing, something major catastrophic happens and you have to learn how to get through it. So
Yeah.
I don't know if that answers the
Figure out.
question,
Yeah.
but
Well, pretty much figure out your way out. Actually, like I always have this in my mind, like it's not just hard work, because a lot of people are saying like, you have to, do hard work, but it's, you kind of have to be, intelligent and smart work also, because it can't be just hard work. Because I know a lot of people that are doing hard work, but they don't have any success because they're always doing the same thing over and over.
I think that you have to be intelligent. You're absolutely correct there. And you have to continually educate yourself. So I'm a big
That's a
reader.
good point. Yeah.
I listen to podcasts just like this one every day. I read, I listen to Audible when I'm in the car. I try to surround myself with positive influence all the time, which anybody out there can do that. Because if you have access to a phone or a computer, which in all reality, most people do today, then you can always continue to download books. You can always go to the store and rent a book. There's always ways to continually keep learning. And the fact that you and your listeners are listening to this podcast now tells me that, you have an intelligent audience.
Absolutely. Hey guys.
This is how you learn. It's absolutely the truth, right?
Yeah. And how did you, so you started in real estate by being a real estate agent, then you didn't like it, went to real estate investing. What was your first deal? Did you start like buy and hold, or did you start flipping? What was your first transaction?
So yeah, the first transaction in a real estate investment space was, if I got to back up a little bit, when I went to that ASRIA that I was talking about earlier here in the call, a guy came, and ASRIA is the Arizona Real Estate Investment Association. It's just the local RIA here in Arizona. Anyways, they had a speaker come up on stage. His name is Dave Lindahl, and he's based out of Boston, Massachusetts. This guy is a multifamily mogul. He's a multifamily investor, and he got up on stage and talked about how to syndicate apartment buildings based on, buying assets with other investors and splitting the profits or sharing in the profits. So, his story resonated with me, and I said, yep, this is the guy I need to follow. I need to know what he's doing. So I actually borrowed $11,000 from my mom to sign up to have him coach me, and did that for about 60 days, 2 months or so, before he had another live event here in Phoenix. And he had a guy come up on stage, and the guy said, was talking about how he had some success using Dave Lindahl's program and yada, yada, yada. Well, that guy happened to live in Phoenix. And so I said, I need to know this guy. So ended up calling Dave Lindahl's office, got his phone number, proceeded to blow his phone up for like a month before he finally took my call. And once he did, we went to coffee, offered to buy him coffee, and we ended up talking for a couple hours and really hit it off. And he said, apartments are good, but I have this thing with wholesaling houses, and I know some people up in Salt Lake City, Utah, that are just crushing it. Do you want to do this with me? And I said, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, they're up there in Salt Lake City. They're making like 90 grand a month. And here I'm like, what? So
yeah,
ended up, him and I partnered up together for about 6 months. I actually ended up going up to Salt Lake City, watched their operation for 4 days, saw how they transacted, saw kind of what happened. And it was amazing. Came back down here to Phoenix. My partner at the time paid for all the marketing, and I kind of did everything else as far as getting deals. And it was a win-win, because I learned a ton out of that situation, and he made all the money. So, and that was kind of the trade-off. He paid for the marketing. I did all the other work that goes with buying the assets and wholesaling the assets and kind of all the above. And for those 6 months, he made the majority of the money, and I made the majority of the experience. So that was kind of how that worked. And from there, that was when HBSB Holdings, which is my company here in Phoenix, really started. And ever since then, we've had record years ever since for the last five years.
Good. That's a really good way to learn. And I've heard you talking about coaching.
Yeah.
There's a lot of mitigate opinion about this. What do you think? Like, would you be willing to pay for a coaching? Would you be willing to pay someone that, you look up to for him to teach you? What do you think about this?
Yeah, so at this point now, I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on coaching and mentoring, on mastermind groups. I still have two coaches I talk to very regularly, and then we're part of a mutual mastermind group. I think this is
Mhm.
this is really one of the big secrets as well. Is you got to surround yourself with people that will push you to go further. And even when it hurts, and maybe it seems like, oh wow, I'm going to spend this much money, it's a must, because Napoleon Hill talks about in his book Think and Grow Rich. I'm sure you've heard of this book before. I'm
Of
sure your
course,
listeners have heard and hopefully have read it. If not, please go out and get it and read it. It'll change your life. But
totally.
he talks about the fact that you are who you surround yourself with, and the mastermind is something that will help you go leaps and bounds faster than if you were on your own. That's for sure.
I totally agree with that. Yeah, absolutely. And so, what would you tell someone, like, let's say, like someone average, not to say that it's good or bad, but someone that doesn't have someone that pushes him, keep him accountable? Like, what should he do to find, people to look up to, or people to surround himself that could, better himself? What would be a good idea
So,
for them?
Oliver, I mean, I have to be brutal and blatant here. Is
Go ahead.
you either have reasons or you have results, but you can't have both. Okay. So if you're hungry enough and you really want to learn and you want to try to find that group to surround yourself, those peers, you'll get out there and look, especially in today's environment with social media,
Mhm.
with the availability of the internet. Everybody has the opportunity to go find these people at a flick of a switch. Very, 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 very simple. You can get on meetup.com and search real estate meetups if real estate's your thing, or whatever it is. You can go find a meetup with other people that have a similar, that enjoy the same thing you do, or trying to get to where you're trying to get to. So that brings me back to my initial thing: is you can either have reasons or you can have results, but you can't have both. You pick.
Yep, and I hope you heard that, guys. You either have reasons or result. That's so true. Totally right about this. See, there was no one in my market that I kind of look up to, so I went to the U.S. to find someone. So here we go.
There it is. There it is.
Yeah.
I could talk about that all day long in every aspect of your life when it comes down to your health, to your finances, to your business. I mean, reasons or results, but you can't have both. And so you choose.
Yeah, absolutely. And now, Scott, you own a holding company,
Mm-hmm.
actually, and you have a couple of apartment building. Still do flips.
Yep. Yep. Rental portfolio, single family houses. I'm in a syndication deal. We do ongoing fix and flips and wholesales. Um, we're kind of always trying to expand and get a little bit better.
Can you give our listener like tips on how to get investor to invest in your deal, or tips on how to get people to bring you money so then you can invest more and expand?
Well, I think that it comes down to, you're selling yourself, right? And there's two parts to it. One, you have to sell yourself. You have to be a genuine person. You can't be out there to try to rob people. You can't be out there, trying to um, do things that are unfair. But I think
Mm.
even more, as I'm talking out loud here, I think the most important thing that you have to bring to the table is value. You have to bring value for them, and they'll in turn give value to you. Let me give you let's go back to the original example. The guy that I learned from, where he made all the money, but I made all the experience. I brought value to his operation. What I did is I said, hey, I approached him and said, I want to learn about what it is that you do. He said, why don't you start this other opportunity with me? I agreed to it. And then therefore I did all the work to make that happen. And I made money for him. But in turn, he made all the experience for me. And now look at what I've been able to produce and develop. And so if you approach an investor, or you let's say you want to learn how to wholesale, or you want to learn how to fix and flip. Let's put that out there.
All right.
Go find out who's doing it in your market and
Mhm.
approach them and say, hey, I'll come work for you for free. Just say it. Like, I'll come work for you for free for a month. Now, some listeners out there might say, well, I don't have any money. I can't do that. Okay, I get that. And we could actually go on to another story on how I found my funding to begin with, if you'd like. But if you approach anybody out there, or if you approach and invest in your deal, you say, hey, I have this deal. I need the money. I'll give you 50% of the proceeds. Right?
Yeah,
Okay. Is that what you want to do every time? Of course not. But for the first one or first two or first three or first five, suck it up and just get it done, because then guess what? You just eliminated your problem.
exactly. And actually, it's cheaper than a coaching, which you would only learn theory. You wouldn't even learn the practice. So
Right.
I think it's way better. It's a really good idea.
It's kind of like, in the investment space, if I'm trying to buy a deal, okay, another example.
Yeah.
I go on an appointment, I'm going to buy a house, and the house is worth, I can list it and sell it for $200,000.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the seller could list and sell it for. And I'm offering them, let's say, 140,000.
Yeah.
They come to me and they say, wait. I just had a realtor over here. He said I could sell it for 200,000. You're 140. You're crazy. I said, yeah, you're right. The realtor said that he could sell it for you, but he's not offering to buy it for 200,000, right? I'm offering to buy it for 140,000. You have no questions asked. We can close tomorrow. You got a guaranteed $140,000. Over here with the Mr. Realtor or Mrs. Realtor, yeah, they said they could sell it for 200,000, but they didn't make you any offer. And there's all these other, things that you're going to have to go through in order to get that much, or to get that money, to get paid.
Yeah.
That's kind of a rough example, but it's similar.
Yeah. I have a question that just popped up in my mind, because I know that market's a bit different in the US, especially down south. Varies a lot more than here. And got those people talking about like a cycle is coming to an end. It's gonna have a crash soon, or a correction, but however you want to call it. And how do you protect yourself? How do you, Scott, protect yourself against a crash, and what's your strategy?
Well, I think that there's a few different ways I protect myself. Number one, people have been, so I'll start with your original, kind of what you said, where people have been saying that there's going to be a crash,
Mm-hmm.
for a long time. And you're right, they have. Really, since 2015, every year they've been saying that there's going to be a crash. But guess what? It's 2019, it's not been here yet.
No.
So if you waited, 2015 came, they said, hey, there's going to be a crash. And you said, oh no, I'm so scared. And you waited till 2019 to invest, you would have missed out on all those opportunities. So the way that you protect yourself is keep investing, keep going after it. The other thing is, don't over leverage yourself. So don't put yourself in a bind. If you're going to go buy an asset, don't go with an FHA 3.5% down type of loan, which you can't do on an investment property anyways. But let's say you wanted to buy one, live in it for a year and move out, whatever, but you're over leveraged. You don't have any equity in the property. Like, if something is to go bad, you don't have any equity. You're over leveraged. So that's a really bad place to be at. And in my space, in any investor space, we're buying at a discount. I don't pay full retail value for properties. So that's how I protect myself.
Easy. It's easy as that. You make your money when you buy.
Yep.
And so let's talk about your organization. I see, you got a lot on your plate. So I guess, you have a couple of employees.
Mm-hmm.
How do you find and surround yourself with good people, good employees, people that are dedicated to your mission or to whatever, your goal, where you want to go to?
So I don't know what the analogy is exactly for it, but like attracts like. It just is kind of how it is. I mean, if you're a good person, if you mean well, if you have a good, vision in front of you, if you're trying to, then you'll attract those people. And if those people don't come to you, they'll stick out like sore thumbs and you can get rid of them quickly. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. The organization it's ever evolving. I just like you and I are, and anybody who's listening to this, we're always evolving. We're always changing. Yep. Therefore, your business will always change, and your needs will always change. And somebody that, you didn't think was going to work out will work out, or somebody you thought was going to work out won't work out. And you just have to play your cards as they're dealt to you. And I think that's a really key point for all the listeners out there too, is to be flexible and be able to move and be malleable when it comes to, your business and even your strategy. If you're a fix and flipper, but all of a sudden you can't find deals that work for you, and you have to switch over for a short time to be a long-term hold investor, then you need to be able to do that. Or if the strategies change, where in the past you could have done like a full rehab and gotten top value because you could have bought it deep enough, but now for whatever reason you can't find whatever deals you're looking for, you need to do less of a rehab. You just need to be able to be malleable in your approach to investing, and make sure you're always learning and evolving.
Good point. So always be learning, actually, which brings back to our point before.
Yeah.
Always be learning, because the market change also. Even though we evolve, even the markets evolve.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. And what's your favorite investment? Meaning, do you prefer wholesale? Do you prefer flipping, syndication, apartment building? Which one's your favorite?
No, man, what I really love is cash flow. That's ultimately, at the end of the day, my favorite type of investment strategy. Now that can be, you can define that in several different ways. So
yeah,
I'm part of a couple of syndication deals for apartments, and they pay me every month. Actually, one of them, I just got my first check today. I opened it up. And that was almost a year ago, but we had some problems. And so anyways, mailbox money, it comes right to your mailbox. However, it doesn't, I don't have enough of them yet to really pay everything. So I keep on going, and I have single family investment properties, and those are mailbox money. But then I also have a wholesale business where we turn and burn, and the spreads are bigger, and I get paid more, and I have to work more for them, but those still happen. And so I think multiple streams of income is the way that you need to really become wealthy.
Yeah, I like that. Multiple streams of income. I like that.
That's it.
I'm the same. I'm trying to get my hands on everything. Not spread out too much, but still, use multiple streams.
But, with that being said, I want to make sure that the listeners don't think you have to do it all today. Like, this is something.
Good point. Yeah.
I struggled with that when I first got started, because I was like, oh man, I want it all right now. Like, I want it all yesterday. I want all the money. I want all the assets. I want all the, I just want all of it today. Well, the reality is that just doesn't happen. You have to have patience. Patience is a virtue. Everybody's heard that, right?
Yeah.
So just take it one bite at a time. You can have it all. Just take it one bite at a time.
And absolutely right. Yeah. And actually start with something, get good at it, specialize in it, and then try something else, and then something else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good idea. And what does Scott do when he wakes up? How does Scott get his mind right? Because I mean, I know it is. We get struggle. We get, it's never easy. So how do you stay like on a top mind? And what do you do when you wake up or when you get struggle?
Oh man, this is my favorite thing to talk about. Let me tell you. This is the secret sauce right here, Oliver. This is going to change everybody's life.
That's why I'm asking.
So the daily routine is, in my opinion, the most important part of anybody's day. And people, you don't necessarily have to wake up early. You don't necessarily have to wake up late, but you just have to have the same routine every day. So a couple things. First off, I wake up at 4:30 in the morning. I'm a morning person. The alarm goes off for the first time at 4:30. I really don't get up until 4:50. I'll click the snooze button. Sometimes I'll get up, but 4:30 to 4:50 is the time. Okay. Right away, jump into the shower. Take a cold shower. Got to shock the system. Not always cold. Like today, it's cold outside, so I took a little warmer shower. But got to get in there, shock the system. By 5 o'clock, I get out, and I go in and meditate. So meditation for me has been life-changing.
Yeah.
I've been doing it for 4 years now, every single day. And it's something that it's my time. I cherish it every day, because what meditation has done is allowed me to watch my thoughts, to watch how my brain operates, and understand what's going on inside myself, which I think is super powerful for anybody. Okay. So I'll meditate for 15 to 20 minutes. And then I'll read either before the gym or after the gym. So let's just say, we'll do it before the gym, 10 pages, 20 pages if I can, but 10 pages is a minimum. And then I work out at 6 a.m. every day. So going, pushing my body. By this point, I've already pushed my mind. I've already, started to get ready for the day, and then going to the gym, push my body and sweating and just getting the blood flowing. And then after the gym, I spend, if I didn't get 20 pages done or whatever on the reading, I like to finish that reading up and then just get ready for the day. I'm trying to be in the office actually by 9, which there's a couple hour window in there. And the reason why is because I go to the chiropractor 3 times a week, and they don't open till 8:30. And I just spend that time after the gym until I'm in the office to plan out the day, to get everything scheduled, to make sure that, all the appointments for that day are actually appointments and stuff I need to go on, stuff I need to, take special attention to, etc.
All right. Pretty busy schedule, actually. 4:30 in the morning.
Yep.
That's good. That's tough, actually. And I like the fact that, when you wake up early, it's tough, and it's tough for everybody. Even if you've been waking up for like 6 years in a row at 4:30, it's still tough. But it kind of like use your muscle of just, pushing yourself out of the bed and then waking up, and then you build your muscle. It gets easier. Well, actually, not really easier, but I mean, you just do something hard when you first wake up, so it kind of sets the day. That's what I like about waking up early.
I want to tell you this too, because I think this is important for listeners. All right. So the other thing I do that I didn't really say in there is I make my bed. So I make my bed, first thing when I get out of the shower, or before I get out of the shower, right when I wake up, pretty much in the morning. Okay. Make your bed. Why? Because you've already won for the day. You've already accomplished something for the day first thing in the morning. Okay. That's a huge win for your subconscious, because that sets the tone for the rest of your day. Okay. So I make my bed, I get in the shower, I get out of the shower, I meditate, boom, second thing is completed. So completed 2 things before the sun's even up. It's still a couple hours before the sun's coming up, right?
Yeah.
Then I read a little bit, 10 to 20 pages, whatever it is. Then I read, boom, third thing, crushing it already. Sun's not even up yet. Then I go to the gym, and I get done with the gym, and boom, what do you know? Gosh, crushed it again. Look at all these things that you've accomplished before anybody else. Some people have even got out of bed. So subconsciously, I mean, you are crushing it already. And for the rest of the day, you're going to continue to do the same thing. And I love it.
Couldn't agree more. It's a really good point. Do you have a night routine also when you go to bed, when you want to, set yourself to sleep?
I got this thing called the 5-minute journal. And some of you might have heard of it. Your listeners might have heard of it before, but it's literally a 5-minute thing where you do 5 minutes in the morning and 5 before you go to bed. And I tried getting into it because I heard that writing stuff down was life-changing, right? So tried getting into it, and I can't do it. I don't know why. I just can't. So for the night routine, by the time I get done with work day, just trying to plan out the night, I got to do stuff around the house or whatever it is, try to just be in bed by 9 or 10 o'clock at the latest is my time, is my bedtime.
And how do you keep track of your lesson of whatever, when you get something and then you just learn a lesson or can learn a way to do your stuff quicker or more efficient? How do you keep track of that lesson? Do you just leave it in your mind, in your subconscious, or do you write it down in your procedure?
So I have, and actually you'll have one of these too. Yeah. I have a journal. It happens to have the boardroom on it, upside down. Sorry. So I'm not perfect at it, and I'll be the first to admit it, but I'm trying every day to write down more stuff that I learn, stuff that I understand, stuff I have questions about, thoughts that pop up in my mind that are valuable, right? I started to really try to write those down because I think it is very powerful, and I just haven't done it. So that's something I'm working on.
Good. And are you only in Phoenix market? Do you only invest in that market? Yeah.
Yep.
How does the market look like over there?
Market's hot, man. Like I would say, arguably, this is the most competitive market in the U.S. I'm sure that there are other people who will say that about their markets, but Phoenix is one of those areas that when something happens from a real estate perspective in the past, it has happened here first, and typically the hardest. So, the market fell in 2009,
Mm-hmm.
2008, 2009. Guess what? It hit, they lost 50% of value in the Phoenix market. Things just shut down.
Huge.
Now, I wasn't here, so I couldn't capitalize on that. But it's hot. Things are booming. That's for sure.
So then how do you differentiate yourself if the market is so hot and you got a lot of competition? How does Scott differentiate from all the other ones?
Yeah, I mean, it's systems, personality, but most importantly, systems and processes. Because in the investment space, wholesale and fix and flip specifically,
Mm-hmm.
marketing for off-market deals, we are a marketing company. We are not a real estate company necessarily. It's a marketing play. And if you don't have a system put in place for follow-ups on all the marketing that you send out, then you will fail hard. You need to have a system set up, and your follow-up needs to be on point.
So you're saying that follow-up is a big part of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
How do you follow up? Do you follow up like with phone call, letters, or you keep sending mail to the same people over and over?
Kind of all the above. Yeah. I mean, once somebody comes, they've received some version of our marketing, whether that's direct mail, pay-per-click, AdWords, cold calling, whatever way they get touched on, as soon as they come into our system, then they go on to a follow-up sequence, which consists of phone calls, emails, text messages, and RBM, or Sly Broadcast.
Yeah. Okay.
And we're constantly touching them. Actually, we're getting ready to send out an after Thanksgiving email campaign to the existing list that we have, kind of thanking everybody for their business in the past, and just for getting an opportunity to meet them. And we got about 3,180 people that are going to get touched on between now and Christmas, or December 25th.
I see. So big volume. And what does your number look like? Meaning that how many letters do you have to send to get a response, and how many response you get to get a deal?
Yep. So we send out about 25,000, sometimes a little bit more, sometimes a little bit less, 25,000 mail pieces a month. And then out of that, 1 in 17 of the phone calls that come in will be a deal.
Okay.
Which is pretty good. We make an average of $16,000 on profit per deal. Of course, it's average, so it depends if we're doing direct mail, if we're doing AdWords. Everyone has their own specific, but around 16,000 is about the average profit per deal. What else do you want to know?
You're sending out 25,000 letters, you're saying, per month?
Yep.
You cover the whole city?
Not the entire city. Pretty much East Valley plus part of Glendale, which, if you don't know anything about Phoenix, it's the Phoenix MSA or metro area is made up of Maricopa County. It's one county. It's really big.
Yeah.
And we don't hit every single city, but we hit most of them. Yeah.
You select specific neighborhood that you like more than other one?
Yeah, to an extent. We actually go after equity plays or distressed plays. So it depends on what, it depends on what those different plays are. So if you're in a high equity in that list, then it could be any city, that as long as you have that equity play, because that's what we're looking for. If you're in the distress list, then it could be divorce, could be pre-foreclosure, could be abatement, could be tax, something to do with your tax situation. There's a lot of things that go into the distress list, but I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, you pretty much touch all of it and cover almost all the city. But how do you call it? It's not, I have lead manager. It's not lead manager, acquisition manager. Do you have a couple of them?
I have
around the city.
I'm still running on most of the appointments. I have one other guy.
Oh, yeah, you still do it?
Oh yeah. It's what I like to do. That's one of the things, is that I love that part of it. I love the acquisition side. I love the relationship building. I love the sales cycle. That's for me. I thrive on that. So yeah, I'm still going on a lot of appointments.
Yeah, that's what I do too. That's one of my favorite parts. So I guess I guess you have a transaction coordinator and then disposition manager and lead manager.
Really just a lead manager. I have Heather who runs some of the social media stuff. She does some of the disposition stuff. And then Rocky, who does all my social media, runs my podcast. I also have a podcast called the InvestThis podcast.
Which you
And
guys should listen to. Take a look
yeah,
at it.
please, everybody get over there, InvestThis. It's a phenomenal podcast. It's been around for about a year and a half. And yeah, man, I mean, it's, we're slowly growing and slowly trying to offload different stuff to different people.
And I've heard a couple of people said like really high net worth people or people that I look up to. A lot of them are telling me like, don't be afraid to tell your best secret. Doesn't matter. Like that's what actually you should do. Just give away your best secret. So then you give value to other people. What do you think about this?
Well, if you remember earlier in the call when I said give value, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So give value. I mean, this is an abundant world out there. There's more money. If we're talking about abundance of let's call it money, there's more money out there than you or I could ever possibly dream of. And I would even argue in today's world, like money's not even real. It's just a number on a computer screen. So you can make that number. So
Yeah.
why not? Plus, not only that, but if you share something with somebody that allows them to move forward in some way, shape, or form in their life, don't you think that they're going to pay dividends to you later? Even if it's just a simple thank you, that you get that gratification of you help somebody.
It's a big chance. Yeah, big chance of it.
And once again, the universe just has a thing with those that give, those shall receive. And I'm big on that.
Good. So you were saying that you're a lot on social media also. Where can people see you and reach you?
Oh yeah. We're on there. I'm personally I'm not on there a lot myself, just because it takes a lot of time and it's not really for me, but we have a big presence on there: Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. You can find me at the Scott Bauer on Instagram, on Facebook, and we're on Twitter. Although, well, you're going to see the same stuff on Twitter that you're going to see on Instagram, because they're pretty much the same thing. But yeah.
Cool. And if you had to start over, like let's say with the mind that you have now, but if you have to start over or get in the past, what would you say to your younger self?
Go big.
Yeah.
Go big. Go faster. Go bigger. If you think you can do it at this level, take it up 10x, make it happen. Go do it bigger. And I mean, I'm saying that to myself, to my subconscious, because I'm trying to 10x it for next year, for 2020, for a new decade.
Yeah, oh, absolutely right I totally agree with this. In other words, like we are our biggest limitation, actually. We kind of like, so it's good to expand ourselves and then talk to people that have done more. So then you can expand yourself to like, okay, it's doable. You just have to think bigger.
And I tell you what, like your subconscious, what you say to yourself, the biggest problem typically is between your ears. And a lot of people will say that.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. You're totally right. I think we've read the same book and listened to the same thing. That's
I'm
pretty
sure
good.
we have, man. I'm sure we have.
Probably done the same mistake also.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, it's super. For me, it really comes, it's exciting because everybody out there has the opportunity to make their own life, to make their own decisions, their own choices. And the way that you talk to yourself, you're listening to yourself.
Yeah.
So just remember that.
Good point. Yeah, the way you talk to it's like you had someone else talking, but it's in your head. But
I have a book. What you say when you talk to yourself.
Yeah, I've heard that book. I didn't read it. Is it good?
So, it's interesting. Yeah. But it's so powerful because it's like your cell. So we're all made up of cells. Everything that we have is all made up of cells, right? Including the voice and that you have that allows you to talk. everything about the rest of your body is listening to what you're saying, always. So if they're always listening to what you're saying and you're telling yourself you can't do something, what do you think you're going to do? You're not going to do that thing. But if you always are telling yourself, yeah, I can do this. Yeah, we can make it. Yes, I can, whatever it might be, then your body's going to find a way to make it happen. And it's cool when you watch that it actually happen in practice.
Yeah, I kind of see it like has a vibration. So if you just saying it, telling it to the universe or however you want to call it,
Yep.
just, putting out the vibration of, that you can do it actually, which is way more positive than I can't do it. So already, yeah, you're much more closer to your goal.
Yeah. I mean, and you just got to decide and go, decide and do it, decide and do. You never look back because the back will never, what happened yesterday will never be here again. And what happens tomorrow isn't here yet. So live in today.
How do you stay motivated and how do you stay like on the right track to obtain your goal?
I tell you what, man, being motivation is cheap. People are motivated. You go to an event, you go to a seminar and you get up there and everybody's rah, rah, and they get you excited. And you're motivated when you walk out of that place. You're like, man, yeah, I'm going to go get it. Whatever that might be. I'm going to go get it. Then you go to sleep. You wake up the next day. You're not so motivated anymore. Why is that? Right? The reason why is because there's no reason or there's no why behind why you're motivated to begin with. Mm-hmm. Motivation's cheap. It comes, it goes, it's whatever. So the secret is having a good, solid why behind what it is that you're doing. And it takes people a long time to understand what that why is. And I would say that I'm still understanding my why, but I'm on my way to get there, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. And that's a good point. And so then I would ask you, like, how do you work on your why, or how do you find it, or how do you clarify your why?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I'm trying to always look at, what is the purpose of doing this? Why do I get up at 4:30 in the morning? Well, I get up at 4:30 in the morning because that's the time when I have peace. Nobody's calling me. Nobody's texting me. Nobody's emailing me. I don't have people blowing up. Contractors don't call. Leads aren't calling. Like, there's nobody that's going to distract me during that time, so I can spend that time for me. That's my why. So that's what gets me up in the morning, is because I know that that's my window. So if you figure out that you're in this business or whatever business you're in, and the reason that you're doing it is because you have to put food on the table for your family, or you have to, do whatever it is that you need to do that business for, that'll keep you motivated to continue to keep going when things get tough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point there. Hope you guys are taking some notes. That's a really good point there. Absolutely. Hey, Scott, it's been amazing. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us, talk to our listener. Amazing. Guys, you can reach to him via Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Scott Bauer, go Google him. Amazing guy. You want to hang out more and more with people like this, like-minded people. Scott, it's been amazing. Yeah, go ahead.
Before we go, we're doing something really, really exciting this year. So I've teamed up with a company called Midwest Food Bank. We're doing kind of a food drive, which I'm really excited about. So the food bank, they distribute food to the food shelters around Arizona, and they're actually all over the country and parts of the globe now, which is really exciting, distributing this food.
Awesome.
So we're on this crusade to just raise $5,000, which is really minimal. We're asking for a $5 donation from anybody and everybody out there, because if you think about it, you spent possibly more money on your coffee this morning than $5. Some people do, right? I've been to Starbucks. Yeah. I drink it every day. And so I know that some of those drinks are $8, $10, $12, $15 for coffee, right? So everybody can spare that $5. And so I'm asking, if you're listening to this, go over to my Facebook page, just Scott Bauer on there. And there's links actually anywhere that you can find me on the web, or at the Scott Bauer in other social media platforms. But donate $5. I really appreciate it. And so do the hungry people around the world.
Awesome. I like that. Guys, $5 to help people in need. I mean, if you don't have $5 to spare, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Everybody gets $5 to spare. or else you might need the food, which is good, which is, I mean, not saying it's good, but it's okay. It's temporary. But guys, everybody got $5 to spare. Thank you for reaching out for this. Give $5 to Scott Bauer. Go on his Facebook. Like he said, just a little $5, a little donation. It's going to go a long way. It's going to help a lot of people. Thanks, Scott. Thank you very much for this. It's been amazing. Thanks for taking the time and hope to see you soon. All right, guys.
Oliver, thank you.